I'm going to give you a quick rundown as to how I have everything set up. I'm using the cover stitch side of my serger, and I'm doing a wide cover stitch, which means I have serger thread in the C1, the C3 position, 2 needles, and then I have serger thread in my chain looper. Now I'm going to swap my camera and just kind of pan over if you see a part of my mess in the rest of the room. Yeah, please forgive me. However, I'm going to swap my camera right now. There we go. See, I already have it threaded. See, you can see my threading. There's my 2 needles, okay? And I'm using the chain and cover stitch foot right here. And if we go up, let's see here. There we go. You can see C1, C3 serger cones. And then over here, that's for my chain looper in this position right here. That's all it is. I have my chain looper tension set at about 2 to 3. I have my needle tension set at 5. And I have my machine speed turned all the way down. So those of you that really know me well, you know, oops, get a little better camera position here before I grab fabric. You know I love to embellish. I love to embellish stuff, okay? So tonight, what I just have a 10-inch square of fabric to play with. It's a beautiful batik, isn't that pretty? So I have this batik fabric, and I just have a piece of scrap quilt batting on the back of it. And I'm going to put it under my needles, right there at the edge of that, like so. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to play with some different embellishing yarns. Now this yarn here, that is some of my I made that yarn. I hand dyed the wool, then I spun it, then I plied it. See how it's got that twist to it? So that was like a three-step process through my spinning wheel. But it's really a beautiful texture. And I'm just going to measure me off about a yard of it and snip it. Right there. So there's about a yard of it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this, I'm going to have it folded in half. So there's a half fold. There are the 2 loose ends. And I'm going to put that half mark right up underneath the needle. So that gets anchored. There we go. And I'm just going to take a couple of stitches, okay? Here we go. Okay. Take a couple of stitches. And I have my stitch length set on 3. The number 3, the stitch length. Okay. This is the double wide cover stitch. And now it's went past my yarn and I got my needles down. I'm going to raise my presser foot. And those of you that have a Sashiko, this is something you could do on the Sashiko as well. Now I'm just going to cross it and bring it up underneath the foot. See how I did that? Just like tying your shoe. And I'm going to lower the presser foot and get past that. And I'm just going to repeat that process all the way down. But I'm going to do a couple of different techniques with this. There we go. And we'll raise the presser foot. Now, if you have your knee lift in, you can do it that way. I don't have my knee lift attached. I'm kind of leaving it a little loopy because I don't want it super tight. You could do it tight. There's so many different ways you can do this. There we go. See, I've got it crossed right here. And now my presser foot is up. And I'm just going to cross it and pull it up underneath there, not tight, lower, Take about 3 or 4 stitches and repeat that process. You could use this for garments. You could use it for home decor. You could also use it to embellish fabric either before or after you piece it into your quilt top. So many fun things you can do with these machines. Okay. And we're going to do a few more. We're going to get to that end. Then we're going to have a look at it. Now, remember, all I have here is a single layer of fabric and quilt batting underneath it. That's all that I'm stitching on. You know, it's working pretty good that I really don't have to raise that presser foot. Being that it's this particular foot, it's not super wide, it's working out that way. You could totally use a wider presser foot if you wanted to. You would totally then, more than likely, oh, that looks cool. I took a peek in back of it. You can see it a little bit back here. But if you want to add texture to whatever it is that you're working on, this is a wonderful technique. If you don't have any beautiful handmade yarn, you can use cording, you can use ribbons. The only limitation is your imagination. And then once I'm done with this demo, I will answer any questions and we'll have some chit-chat time and all that fun stuff. I'm just trying to concentrate so I don't break a needle or anything. Here we go. We're almost to the end here, as you can see. And then when I get done, I would just trim this off. Once I get out to the edge of the fabric. And there we go. Alrighty. And I'm just going to slowly chain it off, going to the back. And then I'll just bring it over here and snip my threads. Sometimes on these double cover stitches, when you do that, it will want to, a needle thread might break. Let me see here, did it? And come unthreaded. And boy howdy, they are close. I may have to redo this one. No, it's still there, it's still threaded. That's a good thing. So I'm going to show you the back first. There's what it looks like on the back. Okay, see, it's just quilt batting, that's all it is. But on the front, look at this. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Easy peasy. So we're going to try something, a different type of an embellishment this time on the same piece of fabric, of course. And I'm going to start it off just about the same way. What I'm going to do right now, though, since I'm going to start off on a cloth to make sure my needle didn't come unthreaded, and I think it did. So I'm just going to rethread this real quick. Okay. I'm going to raise this up some. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to move anything here, but it's my C3 needle. Nope, they're both unthreaded. Okay, that's okay. It's okay. It's a triumph, okay? So, super easy to thread our stuff with these machines. So I'm just going to snip these off here to the edge. Got my threading lever down. Rotate that hand wheel. The loopers are connected. Let me untangle these. I'm all thumbs tonight, everybody. All I can see is a cutting mat, a ruler, and a rotary cutter at this point. And so I'm going to do this one over. It doesn't matter what direction you do them in. Got caught in my finger and I unthreaded it. Press the button. And I don't have my glasses on. Come on, dear. Yeah. Okay, there's one. Told you, I am all thumbs tonight. Okay, now we'll do the other one. Alrighty. No, I didn't have it in there. There we go. Here we go. We're going to get that one threaded. There it went. Okay. Just have to get it in the right position. It will get it right through there. Okay. Now we're ready to go. Now let's give that a shot. Make sure that is forming a stitch, and it is. I'm just going to trim all this off even. There we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go right off onto this where I want this next bit of embellishment to start. Okay. And this time I have this beautiful, I think it's beautiful, it's Louisa Harding silk ribbon from England. Check this stuff out. Isn't that pretty? It's got this little metallic glittery stuff in it. So there's a couple of ways I could attach this with that double cover stitch. I could lay it flat, and I'll just do one like that so you can see that. Okay. You raise that foot up. I'm going to raise my needles up. There we go. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get that positioned all the way under there. You know what? Yeah. I don't have my stiletto in here. I'm just going to get that ribbon positioned right up underneath that. If you can't find your stiletto, you can use this tool that came with your serger. That's your little needle to tighten your needles in and out with. But there we go, and that's off just a bit, but that would be taken up in a seam allowance. So this first time, I'm just going to attach the ribbon to this so that it's flat. Okay. And press her foot down. Now I'm using black serger thread. However, you could put embroidery thread through the needles, metallic thread, whatever your heart desires. You can run through the needles for the most part. There we go. Now we're right there at the edge. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to snip this. And I'm going to get me another piece of cloth to serge off on. This way, if you ever have problems with your serger wanting to break a thread when you chain off, this is an easy fix for it. I've done this, I do this on my sewing machines as well. So all it is, this is like an ending cloth. I use a starter cloth and an ending cloth. I do that for Sashiko, I do it for everything. There we go. And now I just cut my piece off that I'm actually working on. There we go. And let's have a look at that. And I will cut off my starter cloth that I had, and this will become the new ending cloth. Okay. Check that out. Look at that. See how easy that is? Think how pretty that would be to decorate your quilt top and everything with. Okay, so Another way to use this ribbon, and we're going to do that one right over here next to this first braiding that we did. Insert that under there and get it started. Okay, one more right there. I'm going to get another piece of this. Just about a yard or so. Oops, let it go. I also couldn't find my good scissors, so I'm using my applique scissors tonight. So, I'm going to stitch down on this and put this right back up underneath those needles, right up to them, and get started. And like I was doing with this, I could go back and forth like that. However, this time, I'm going to raise my presser foot and put everything to one side. Stitch down, and once it clears the needles, I'm going to run them both up underneath here, like so. And I'm going to go back and forth, weave them back and forth that way, both strands at the same time. Now I could put curves in this instead of straight lines. And we'll do that here in just a minute once I get down just a little bit further. There we go. Check it out. Now this ribbon is out of my stash. It's no longer produced. But it is really awesome stuff. I like to weave with this in my weaving loom also. And I still have my length. Now I'm going to curve it a little bit as I go. What I mean by that, I'm just going to kind of come out like this. I'm going to curve it off to an edge. You don't always have to do it in super straight lines. Notice I'm not raising my presser foot up. Isn't that cool? You're going to love what this looks like. Oh my goodness, this is I like this better than the yarn I took so much time to make. Almost there. One more. Okay. Then we're going to put our cloth on, serge off. Okay. I'm just going to snip it. Snip this one off. And if you do it like that, if you have a beginning and ending cloth, you never have to worry about your needles, your thread breaking and coming unthreaded. Check that out right here. There's what I just did right here. I'm going to move this back so you can get a better look at it. There we go. So when I just did, there it is flat, the same ribbon, but look how different that looks when you do it this way. Pretty cool, right? And there's so many other ways you can do this as well, everybody. So just think, if you put a whole lot on here, this could be a block in a quilt if you wanted that type of texture in it. This could be a block that you could put on the side of a tote bag, that you could put in a table runner. So many different ways that you could actually use this type of technique. Let me get me another sip of coffee here. And a different way to do this, so check it out. I'm going to take one of my needles out, okay? There we go. I'm just going to put this so you can see what I'm doing here. And the easy way to do this, to unthread, I'm going to cut the thread on my C3 needle. If I just cut that thread right at the needle, check it out. There, I just snipped the thread that was going through that needle right there. Now I'm going to take that needle out. Okay, that needle's gone. And now I'm going to remove that thread out of my thread path. That was this one right here. Let me raise my presser foot up. I just have to pull it out now. I'm going to cut it. That thread is no longer threaded. It's not in my thread path or tension discs. And you know what? Now I'm going to do a different type. I'm going to use a different yarn. But I'll show you something a little bit different we can do. And this time I'm going to go across what I've just done. I'm going to start down here at this end. Okay. Okay. Now then, here is some yarn. Most of you know our little shop here in Illinois, I sell yarn. This is Noro yarn. Let me get out here where you can see it a little bit better. This is yarn from Japan. It's Noro. This is 100% wool. Beautifully dyed. Love this stuff. If I'm going to buy yarn, for the most part, I buy Noro yarn because it works great in my weaving looms and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to leave that up like that this time. And I'm going to cut off, about approximately a yard. I'm not going to measure it. There we go. I'm going to fold it in half again. But you know what? This time I'm not going to fold it in half. I'm going to show you a different way. This will work on the serger for sure. I'm just going to put a piece up underneath there, and I'm going to serge over it. Now that is anchored, so I have a little tail back here. And now what I'm going to do, check this out, I'm going to make loops in front of it. I will raise my presser foot for this. And then I'm going to slide, or attempt to slide, all of those under there. There we go. Lower that presser foot, stitch that down. And then I'm just going to use a single length and come back around. So it kind of looks like a little bit of a stem, maybe. Oops, don't want that. Here we go. Okay, I am raising my presser foot on this. This yarn's pretty bulky. I'm going to put a few more loops in it. Let me trim these tails off right here. We might put those on there too. Let's see if we do that. We just might. We'll make a single loop. Do this time. There we go. We're going to put a loop like that. I'm going to put one over here this time. Am I? I don't know. Am I? Yes, I am. I'm just going to bring that one way up there like so. Not quite as big. There we go. And we'll put another one down here. And one over here. The thing is, if you're going to do this, just experiment and have fun, okay? This stuff, when we do this with these machines, it's supposed to be fun and not stressful. Now, remember those two pieces I just trimmed off? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach, I'm just going to fold it in half and put them under the foot like this. No, I'm actually going to come away from all of those loops first before I do that. Change my mind. Okay, there we go. I'm going over that silk ribbon. I use that ribbon very sparingly because it is no longer manufactured. Boy, howdy, I wish they did, because I love that stuff. Now I'm going to put a piece of this yarn that I cut off. Okay. Just come on over it, and then I'm going to bring this on top of it. Come over that. Come off a little bit, and I'm going to take the other one and put the loop in the opposite direction. Okay. Put that under there good. And I'll bring that one over. We're almost out to the edge here. And one more time back this way. And we'll tie off with our ending cloth. And there we go. And I'll just do a little bit of trimming here. And this is what I call organic free-form embellishment. Honestly, I did not put a lot of thought into this. I just wanted to play with my ribbons and my yarn tonight. And here we go. Just lay that down there. But with a little thought, you could actually do like outlines of flowers, follow the pattern in the fabric to use as a guide on which way you would want to move it, all that fun stuff. But there you go. Get you a good close look at it this way here. There we go. Lots of fun. Now, I did use the black thread. If I was really making, I would probably use a thread, unless I just wanted the thread to contrast against the embellishment. I would totally just, honestly, I think metallic thread would be awesome. I like metallics anyway, y'all know that. So that would be a wonderful way to do that as well. The important thing when you do this, don't stress, be happy, and have fun. That's the only requirements to do this.